Y'all again. Hadn't been on YouTube in a long time, but I sit out in my car late at night because that's when I get to talk to the Lord and the Lord get to talk to me. Don't hear no noises, no rambling, no nothing. But it's a lot been going on in my life since the last time I've been on YouTube. The devil has really been getting me around for my money with depression, anger, anxiety, you name it. But as I sit out here tonight in my car, looking at this one particular star, the wind blowing real high because of the hurricane in Florida, I asked God to be with those people. But I was too busy, I text my pastor Sunday and, I was telling him, to pray a special prayer for me. Because I want him to pray for the prayer of depression, pray for anger, me holding it in, pray for rejection, me being rejected. But I thought about it and the Lord showed me tonight that he was rejected, even though he gave his life. Even before he gave his life, he was rejected. And he was in the flesh. He was still rejected. People didn't want to hear what he had to say. And that's how it is. And then I said, pray for my anger. I said, but I thought about that. The Bible said we could be angry, but sin not. Anger bring on hatred. Hatred bring on rejection. And then I asked him to pray for depression. I didn't ever read where God was depressed. But I have read in the Word where it say, don't get weary in well doing. But we tend to do that. We tend to get weary in well doing because we feel like that we want to fit in, and we feel like we're being looked over. And it is a hard thing. It's a serious thing because people don't realize, and then sometimes people do realize, and then God let you stay in a place and in a position just so that you can see, and he show you things that people, and he wants you to stay in the place where you are so that he can magnify you and you can grow within the hurt and the rejection and the depression and the being talked about, being mistreated, being looked over. Just because he wants you to see that if you can make it through this little storm, you can make it through anything. But it get hard sometimes, and people look at it, and sometimes you catch people mocking you. People making fun of you, and they're glad, but that's what the devil do. Sometimes they don't realize they doing it, but the devil is using them, and they don't even realize it. And then sometimes they do realize it because they be caught up in the flesh. And I'm just sitting there thinking, and the Lord just showed me so many things. You don't know who is looking at you. You don't know who is watching you. You have to be careful what you say. You got to be careful what you do. You got to be careful how you talk to people. You got to be careful what you say about people. Because if you don't want to be talked about, why talk about people? If you don't want to be mistreated, why mistreat people? No matter how hard it get, every time I say that I'm not going to help somebody, I always end up helping somebody. I called myself the other night asking the Lord, I'm like, Lord, you gave me this heart. I don't want people to keep breaking my heart. I don't want people to keep mistreating me. But sometimes we put ourselves in that position. And being saved, you're going to be tried. You're going to be tried. You're going to have people pointing fingers. You're going to have people talking about you. You're going to have people rejecting you. You're going to have people looking over you just because. When we stop being caught up in the position and get caught up in God and get our elevation from him and want an increase from him and not man, then we're going to get somewhere. And that is my biggest problem. That is one of my biggest problems, is wanting to be accepted. But I'm finding out that everybody's not going to accept you no matter what. The good you do, the bad you do, they're not going to accept you. So why not do good and do good for God's sake? Because one thing about it, if you're doing good for God's sake, you're going to get your reward. But if you're doing it for man, man going to pay you right then. And the Bible tells you that you have your reward. When he pay you, you got your reward. And I was just listening at God just talking to me tonight. He's letting me know. Stop complaining, Marilyn. Stop worrying. Because if you're going to worry, I can't do what I need to do for you. Every night I sit out here and I talk to God every night because it's quiet. I don't have to worry about my baby calling my name, my grandbaby saying Granny, my other grandson saying Granny, Granny. They all sleep and I get to talk to him and he get to talk to me. Because if people notice, some people say the most relaxing time is at night, but sometimes that's when people fall in depression the most because they're no longer busy. It's not daytime. And they get quiet and then their mind go to wondering and it go to running. That's the time to pray. That's the time to talk to God about everything. You know, lately I have been seeking and asking God, to fill me with his precious Holy Ghost, And God give me discernment of spirits, And I see things. I see a lot of things in people. And even when you see it, you be wanting to talk to them about it, but you can't talk to them about it. You can't tell them. You cannot tell them. You can't, you have to just let it go until God say, well, hey, this is the time you tell them. And people have always say, well, all and him and her, all they been doing in and out the church, in and out the church. Well, I'm here to tell you honestly that I've been wanting to tell you. In and out the church have caused, the reason why some people are in and out the church is because our church hurt. Is because people have been hurt. And so they leave the church because they don't know how to deal with the pain. They don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to talk about it. They have been made to be quiet for so long. So that's why people are in and out the church. So therefore some people don't trust them no more. But it's okay. Because the Bible already let you know how many times you have to forgive somebody. So if you're in the church and you're not forgiving and you still talking about how I left the church years ago and I'm back. I've been in and out the church. Why? Why? This is not the last shot at nobody. This is to just encourage somebody. Because at the time, a person can be young. Being mistreated when you're young, people don't know how to quite deal with it. And sometimes it follows them over until into their future. And the people that hurt them or cause some of the pain, some is still continuing to do it. So the question is how you get over it. You got to face the hurt. You got to pray. You got to face the hurt. And what I'm having to learn is that, and sometimes I get angry. I say, well, I want them to feel like I feel. I want them to go through the pain that they caused me. But then I had to think about it. That's not what God did. If he made them feel like they made him feel, then he wouldn't have died and we wouldn't have been saved. And it'd have been justified. And so I had to think. Sometimes our work is not in the church, it's on the outside of the church. I had to really sit down and think, and God has really been dealing with me. We have to be careful what we ask for. Because he'll bring everything back to you and show you everything. So, well, you don't want to be hurt, but this is who you hurt. You don't want to be talked about, but this is who you talked about. You don't want to be rejected, but you rejected this person. I told somebody today, I said, listen, don't keep on sowing something that you're going to have to reap over and over. You keep going the same round. The same thing round and around. Get somewhere and stop doing what you're doing because you don't want to have to keep reaping corruption. Sowing and you sowing and then you're going to keep reaping corruption. You don't want to keep doing that. So in this way of walking in life, in the Christian life, we're going to be persecuted. We're going to be rejected. We're going to be talked about. We can't keep running. Yes, When I tell you that I'm like really, really ready to just pack up and leave right now, take my daughter and just leave. Because I feel like I'm in this thing alone. But God knows. He just let me see everything. So when he get through sifting me out, breaking me down, and rebuilding me again, he's fitting me now. He's fixing me now. That the people that's mistreated me or mistreat me, their face gonna look like flint. I'm gonna be able to walk in and not even feel their vibes. Because God done built a shield around him. He's building a shield. So what he's doing now is breaking me down. Piece by piece, step by step. And I'm beginning to see the real manifestation of God. After a while, they'll be able to throw darts. And it won't even bother me. It won't even pierce me. He's making me over. And it just amazes me because I look at it every day and I say what I don't have. Losing houses. Not able to find a job. And then he made me think about Job. No, I don't, and I don't want nobody to get this the wrong way. I don't compare my life with Job. But every day, some of us go through the same thing. We have to lose this and lose that. But then, when he do come around and blesses us, he give us more than what we lost. I know somebody can witness to this because it done happened to me numerous of times. And he put you get in a position where the only person that can bring you out, the only man, the only way you can come out is through God. And people don't see that. They don't see it, that the only way that they can come out is God. Because I know in the past 3 months, I have really been going through some things. But I cannot fall. I have to keep on and keep on. And I made up in my mind too. I said, sometimes we think we can confide in folks. We can't confide in everybody. You can't confide in everybody. Whether they're in the church, whether they're over the church, whether they're under the church, whatever. You can't confide in some evangelists. You can't confide in some preachers. You can't confide in some teachers. You can't confide in some saints. You can't confide in some sisters. You can't confide in some brothers. You can't confide in some deacons. You can't confide in some best friends. You can't confide in them. Because they will get it. You can't confide in the church mother. You can't confide in the Sunday school teacher. You can't confide in the first lady. You can't confide in your kids. You can't confide in your mama. You can't confide in your daddy. And sometimes you can't even confide in yourself. Sometimes yourself can't be trusted. So you have to make up in your mind. You're going to talk to God about it. Now, if God tells somebody, and somebody tell you what thus said the Lord, is different. Because that person needed to know. But we got to realize, some of us, as in being preachers, teachers, evangelists, apostles, all of that. How is it that you say you that, but you don't know my spirit? You got to know me. You got to know what I'm capable of. You can't keep judging people by their past. Well, I remember when she used to do this, and I remember when he used to do that. Our job is to win people to Christ now. That's what our job is. My daddy used to tell me, he used to call me head. He used to say, head. He said, you can't skin that fish until you catch it. So when he put that in my mind, I went to trying to fish hard because I wanted to catch a fish. But see, what my daddy didn't tell me, them things that stick you. Them catfish, them things, them big old heads and them fins sticking out. He didn't tell me them things was in the water. And them the kind of fish I'm scared of. Now, you can run me to here to probably Oxford with a catfish. It's just something about them. But I'm saying that to say I'm saying the natural to say the spiritual. We ain't even trying to catch no fishes. We ain't trying to go out and catch no fishes because we scared we gonna catch the kind that ain't gonna be good for the eating. We scared we gonna catch something that it's gonna be a lot of trouble to land it in. But my dad always told me, say, if you catch it, you can land it. And if you bring it in, it's worth eating. Now, you got some guards. Them things with the long mouth. Yeah, you can't eat them things. You got them big old carbs. I've heard people say, man, go on and land that thing. Them things weigh about 40 pounds. But it's still some good eating. Because my daddy said, grind them up and make salmon out of them. But I say this to say that. I say that to say this. We got to start going into the highways. The Lord already done fixed the supper. The people that's in the house don't want to eat it. They don't want to eat it. They done picked over what they had to pick over. But see, one thing about the people in the Hedges Highway, the drunks and the drunks and the homongers and the crack smokers and the weed smokers and the spice smokers, because that's the new drugs and the drug and the pill poppers, all of them right there. One thing about it, and the dirty and the Phoebe and the people that don't bathe and all of them people, the homeless and the folks that sitting under the bridge and laying under the bridge and smoking a crack pipe under there and dirty and eating out the trash can and them type of people. God said, bring them in. See, one thing about it, everything that you picked over there, eat it. Thank you for that, Lord. See, that's the problem. We in the house. And we get good eating. Fully sarosified. We ain't studying them out there. But we taking advantage of what God has given us inside the house. And we done got greedy, so to speak. That whatever come in, the Lord sent in, we seem to mistreat it so we can run it away. It's just like stray dog. We'll feed him enough until he start hanging around. And then we'll stop feeding him and mistreating him and run him away. That's the same way it is in the church. We'll get them in now. Oh God, I thank you. And we'll start treating them nice. But the minute the pastor started giving them credit and thanking God that they're in now, Lord, I thank you right now for what you're showing me. Or we feel like they're getting more attention than we getting. And we get in our ways. But we saved. That's not saved. That's selfishness. Greed. How you know, Marilyn? Because that's what God been showing me. Putting on formality. It's just a form. That's why I say anything that is not like God, and people say it often and they say it very loosely, anything that's not like God, in me, I want him to move it out. And when I tell you, God has been showing me step by step everything, every day, every night. He's been showing me. He's been showing me. Don't you do this. Don't be caught doing this. He show you people faces. He show you people attitude. He show you when you think, they think you done turned your back and you quickly turn around and they nose turned up at you. But he let me know I still got to treat him nice. He told me tonight, he said, be quiet. And I have to. The Lord have even fixed it that I changed my dress code. See, the thing is it ain't even about the clothes. I have to let the Lord deal with me the way he gonna deal with me. This is not for you. This is for me. But I just wanted to share it with you. He's a just God. He's burning me off. Everything that's not like him, he's burning it. And after a while, I'm going to come out pure gold. Sanctified, saved, sanctified, and have the real baptism of the Holy Ghost. And I'm going to be able to, hallelujah, be able to just walk in the mist. And the power of God just fall. That's what I'm looking forward to. So he got to make me over. He got to remind me of the things that he don't want me doing. He bringing it back to me. Everything I don't want done, he letting me know don't do it to nobody. Or you have. And it's just about to the point where I can't hardly grasp it. Because it's like, golly, did I do this? So we have to be careful for nothing. Lest at any time we let something slip. We have to be careful. We have to be careful for nothing. Learn to be quiet. Sit back and watch God. Make your enemies your footstool. By the time you get through serving God, and I had to learn this too, the days that I've been talking to the Lord, by the time I get through concentrating on what God want me to do, doing my positions, what I supposed to do, doing what I supposed to do in the Lord, by the time I get through giving God a crazy praise, listening at the word of God, taking care of my babies, taking care of myself, going back to church, ministering to people, trying to save folks, trying to help folks. I ain't got time for no foolishness. I'm looking for God to work out some things. And I'm believing him to do it. And I know he will. Well, I just wanted to share that with y'all. It's getting night. It's getting old. Getting late. I'm kind of getting cool here. So, y'all have a good night and God bless you.